Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we're back with more. Ow! Cupid Parasite. Bird, why'd you just bite my neck like that, jerk? What the fuck? Anyway, Cupid Parasite, not more. Ow! But anyway. Yeah, so Ryuki just kissed us after Gil confessed his love to us because he saw us looking at Ryuki with a look of love on our face or whatever, and then he decided he was just gonna try to cockblock that. Like, wow, balls on you, Gil. Anyway, he somehow took the rejection really sort of well, I guess. Problematically well. Like, it's okay, I'm not gonna let it go, and then skipped on out, and it was like, that's not exactly, but no, you should let it go, but okay. At least you're not crying and bawling, and I don't feel totally guilty. I'm like, huh? And then Ryuki basically shoved his tongue down our throat, and we're like, huh? So that's where we are. After she ran off, I wandered back to my room in a daze. She's gone. And when I heard Gil confessing his love to her, I just lost it. I kissed her without thinking. I didn't want anyone to take her away. I wanted her to only look at me. I wanted to kiss her. I'm younger than Gil and shorter. I guess my insecurity made me rush to kiss her. But she rejected me, and my heart ached as if I'd been stabbed. Spacey. I put my fingers to my lips and looked down, and this was the first time I'd ever been in love with anyone. I'd never felt this way about anyone, so I had no idea what to do. I was in love with her. If she wanted to run away, good lord, I had no idea what to say to her. Huh? My phone chimed and I yelled out in surprise. I looked to see who was messaging me and I couldn't hide my surprise. It was a message from my grandmother. I opened the text and the message inside made me drop my phone. Why? It had been years since I'd gotten a message from my grandmother. And it said, I found the perfect fiancé for you. Of course! And then we're going to be like, what do you mean you're getting married? Well, that was a fast chapter. True love. Aww. Gee, what should I do? Gee! When I got home, I couldn't even look at Clarice. I just crawled into bed. I pulled the blanket over my head and grabbed Chi tightly. My heart was still beating fast. It was pounding in my ears. I was in pain. What should I do now? I kissed Ryuki, didn't I? But that wasn't all. Gil had confessed his feelings for me. It definitely was a weird night. Gee! G's arms and legs jittered back and forth as if he was feeling my emotional pain. I buried my face in Chi's fur and sighed. Gil's confession was a complete surprise. Could you stop chewing on my headset? All I can hear is your little beak chewing. Also, I don't want you chewing on my headset. You're going to ruin it. I love you. But I had to admit that it didn't give me the kind of thrill I would have expected. It was nothing like Ryuki's kiss. That had overturned everything I thought I understood. In his case, I had no idea how to act the next time I saw him. Could I ever get used to it? Or was I just going to be nervous every time I saw him from now on? Don't get hung up on the details. The point is, kissing makes me happy. Like things are really getting serious. Getting serious. I knew for sure that Ryuki's kiss didn't feel careless or thoughtless. It was a kiss that wanted to take me away from everything. But now that I knew he liked me, maybe I felt even more nervous. Even though he was apparently a parasite, and even though he said he didn't see me as more than an acquaintance. This is so not fair! When did he change? How am I supposed to know if he doesn't tell me? Gee! After struggling for a bit, she got comfortable and quieted down. I buried my face in his soft fur and thought about everything for a while. Once I got home, I sat next to Kagura in a daze. Grr? All I could think about was the girl I just kissed. Suddenly, I got a text. I picked up my phone and saw it was a message from my grandmother. She said she'd come to Lost York on business and had met a woman with a truly exceptional beauty grade, the highest she'd ever seen. She said she was sure I'd love her. She said she'd be in Lost York next week for work and she wanted to introduce me to her. So my grandmother wanted to see me. Nordier Casain, the head of the Casain family and lead designer for Casain. I don't know if that's how you say it, but that's how we're saying it. I'd been running from my grandmother for so long. I thought she'd tell me I had no chance as a designer. But I couldn't keep running. Not from my grandmother. And not from love. I don't want to keep going without her. I recalled the look on her face when she kissed me, and when her face turned red. I wondered how she felt about everything at this moment. Maybe you should text and be like, look, can we talk about what happened? Did she really see me as a man? Oh, yes, we do, sweetie. You're precious. I felt like she was underestimating me just because I was young. No, it's not about underestimating. She doesn't see herself as a woman, and she doesn't look at others as men. That's true. 100%. He read me like the clear as day book I am. She sees everyone as equal, so it's not fair for me to feel frustrated. She's not wary of guys, and it doesn't even occur to her they might be in love with her. Absolutely true. Which is why Gil felt like she rejected him. Also why she suddenly ran away after I kissed her. But that was so cute. I didn't expect her to run away, but that look of surprise on her face was so cute. Oh, we're giving him a weird kink, aren't we? She ran off, totally startled. I'm sure she didn't expect it at all. But she didn't actually mind it, right? I wasn't sure. I had no idea. To be honest, I'd never cared about anyone else's feelings. Plenty of people have yelled at me or broken down into tears, but I didn't care, so whatever. Caring about other people's feelings kept you from getting to the top, and that's what I always thought. But now I couldn't help but wonder about her feelings. What was she thinking right now? Does she hate me? Grr? As I thought about that, Kagura looked at me with worry. Kagura and her perfect beauty score. But seriously, who is more beautiful than her? And that's what I wanted to tell my grandmother, but I felt a pang in my stomach as soon as I imagined it. She might get mad at me just like when I was a child. Here's the thing, Ryuki. What's more important to you? Placating your grandmother, who was kind of an I get that's... Or true love. What makes you happy? Because the thing is like marrying this woman might not ever get you the approval from your grandmother that you're constantly seeking. So it's like, be happy in the life that I have, or constantly be seeking my grandmother's approval, doing everything she wants me to do and being fucking miserable, chasing a goal that may never you may never get to. You know what I mean? Ryuki, you need to stop playing with such undisciplined children. These normal people may reduce your special vision. Just keep working hard on your designs. You have so much to learn. You have no time to look elsewhere. Grandmother probably has a very prim proper voice. I don't know. And then I remembered playing on a park playground. I was playing with the clothes grandmother had made for me, but then she frowned at me. My dirty hands made her designs look bad, and my stained clothes made everything look awful. And all the kids at the park had a beauty grade of less than 50. And that must be why they all stopped coming back to the park. I never played with kids my own age. I only ever talked to older designers about their jobs. In elementary school, I went straight to my grandmother's house to learn about design. And she was right. I couldn't waste a minute of time to become a proper designer. This whole time I'd only focused on my own sense of style. Thinking about it, I was sure my grandmother wouldn't approve of her. I might think she was cute, but I was sure she didn't measure up to my grandmother's standards. Still, I can't betray my own feelings. I was like, we did not just get kissed and you finally admitted your feelings and you're going to be like, nah, I got to do what my grandma says. Bitch, I will slap you. I love Spacey, so... Okay. I stood up with a sense of resolve. I will figure out where she lives. I'm so sleepy. As soon as I got to work, all I could do was yawn. Actually, I didn't sleep very well the night before. Couldn't stop thinking about Ryuki. I wondered what he thought when I ran away, and what he thought when he kissed me. It was my first kiss, so I had no idea how to deal with it. Stop it! I have work to do! I chased off the memory of that moment and logged in to try and get some work done. But as soon as I did, I saw a message from the magazine editor and nearly collapsed. Because the photos from the Parasite house shoot had arrived. Ugh. I glanced at the pictures. Parasite 5, including the Cupid Corp president, dressed in Ryuki's clothes. Everyone looked so cool. Again, we don't get to see picture. Rude. Raoul, a sillywood actor, was as good as it gets, and the slender Alan looked good in any suit. But in my opinion, nobody looked better than Ryuki. He's pushed his bangs to one side and looked at me without any fear in his eyes. My heart started pounding faster than ever. Ryuki, you're so cool. Maybe it was the suit, or maybe it was the makeup, but he looked more mature than ever. I looked at the photo for a while, then came back to myself. I have work to do! I need to reply to my other emails. The first thing I did was send photos to everyone else. Everyone else replied as soon as possible. Raoul, Alan, Gil, Mr. Snail, and even Ryuki. I couldn't help but get a little nervous when I saw Ryuki's reply. Gil had already confessed his love to me, so why did I only care about Ryuki? Sorry, Gil. Gil was the lovelorn parasite, and despite being the goddess of love, I always thought Claris was his lost love. His lost love. Supposed to be long lost love? Did it say long? Did I just read? No, lost. Maybe I think it was supposed to say long, but I was completely oblivious to Gil's feelings. And Ryuki's feelings, for that matter. Why did I keep tying people's feelings together? How pathetic. But that can't be right. I mean, I'm the real Cupid, right? Someone who exists to support other people's love shouldn't fall in love, right? So I removed the possibility from my mind. Or at least that's what I meant to do. So why is my heart beating so loud? I looked at the monitor again. Seeing Ryuki's face, my heart started beating even louder. A few hours later, I was ready to leave work. Jeez, I wasn't able to concentrate at all today. Chi! I grabbed Chi and used him to shock the stiffness out of my shoulders. I had a pretty rough day, but I prepared to have a better day tomorrow. You will, because Ryuki's going to be outside, maybe. I don't know. But as I left the office, I froze in place. Yep. Because right outside the office, I saw Ryuki. You make me happy is on the sign back there. That's actually kind of funny. There's an arrow pointing kind of at Ryuki. Okay. Ryuki, what are you doing here? I just wanted to see you, of course. He approached me without hesitation and grabbed my arm. His grip was so warm, I couldn't move. I looked into his face, which was so close to mine. I won't apologize for kissing you the other day. Oh. What I'm trying to say, Spacey, is that I love you. He blushed, but refused to look away from me. I know you don't really see me as a man, but all I ask is that you give me a chance. A chance? I'd like to take you out, and I'd like you to consider the possibility. So, will you go on a date with me? What the fucking, old-timey black and white movie, soundtrack. It's so good. I'll let you decide the details. I don't want to overwhelm you, but the earlier the better. Ryuki hit me with an impatient gaze, as if something was pursuing him. It was clear that he really wanted to take me on a date, and that he wanted me to see him as a man. If I took the first step here, there was no going back. Do I pull back or do I go on? Ryuki wants to go on a date with me. Do I? Fuck yes. Oh. I'm going to assume we accept his request. Oh. Because I'm going to guess we get a bad ending if we say no. I think I was saving Ryuki's files. Yeah, these are Ryuki's. Okay. Yes. Okay. Accept date request. So if we don't accept his request, we get a bad ending. That's so sad. God, I did clip accept, right? Jesus. I was so confused, I couldn't take my eyes off him. My head was spinning. I couldn't tell if I was really in love or not. Okay. He nodded slightly and gave me a mature look. Yay. That's fine. Just let me know when you have a day off. Actually, this coming Monday... Perfect. I'll come pick you up. You don't know where I live. As if to lock it in, he gave my arm a squeeze, then let go. After that, he stared straight into my eyes, then turned around and took off. That's so cute. He's like, I want to go today. Okay. He squeezes your arm. He steps back, looks at you, turns and runs. That was weird. What am I supposed to do? Everything was happening so fast, I just stood there looking confused. I stood like that until Chi wandered out from the back and we locked eyes. I always feel like Chi is a very small animal, but like I wonder how big he actually is, like cat-sized? I mean, he's big enough, he's small enough to ride a dog. I mean, we usually grab him with, we can grab him with one hand, so he's like squirrel size, like... At last, the day of my date with Ryuki arrived. Oh my god, did we just hit a new chapter? Oh, probably. So that's A Natural Sense of Color must be our date chapter. I was just busy thinking about the size of Chi, so I got distracted. Good morning. Good morning. Even as I got ready to leave, Ryuki was already waiting for me. I recalled all the times that he hit me with a facial spray. But surprisingly, he halted all his spray attacks. As I walked up to him, he just smiled at me. You look nice as always. What? I wasn't ready for him to praise me. I touched my skin to check my own moisture level. I didn't do anything special, but... What's with that weird look on your face? Come on, let's go. Okay. I think what I really love about him is the fact that he's like, you look really nice. And we're like, huh? And he's like, why are you being weird? Like, why are you being weird? What? What is happening? Are we in the Twilight Zone? So fucking funny. I took his hand and we started to walk. I felt totally different from before when we went on that weird fake date. Of course, we're at the amusement park. Then we came to the amusement park. We rode the teacup. Oh, I love the teacups! Marry me now. And the Ferris wheel. No, I don't like the Ferris wheel. It's high and scary. But I understand that, like, in, like, anime and shit like that, the Ferris wheel is, like, the romance spot. It's always the romance spot. It's, like, a trope. Okay. But, like, teacups! I mean, you can't have a romantic moment on the teacups, but you have a lot of motherfucking fun and... Okay. I'll suffer on the Ferris wheel. That Ferris wheel, though, in the background, those motherfucking things are locked in. They don't look like they swing. They're, like, glued on, so you're at some point are going to be upside down on that fucking thing. I'm sorry. But do those baskets look like they actually kind of go around with the thing? So the orange one is... It looks like it's bolted straight on there. I know they look... That one on the top looks like it's right side up, but I'm just saying, how does that work? The design. There's a flaw in it. I don't like heights, okay? If you're in there totally secure and it's like, fine, but like... Sometimes you're like, no, it's a little high. I don't know. Okay, you would have to go... And we'd have to cuddle in there! Which I guess would make it a romantic moment. So, okay, fine. We worked together, thinking about how we could conquer each ride. That being said, it wasn't that different from any other date. How do you know? You've never been on one. Well, you've been on the fake ones. I enjoyed myself more and more, enjoying my time with Ryuki on each different ride. Where should we go next? Do you want to go on that roller coaster? I've been thinking about trying it for a while now. That one looks fun. That one? I don't mind, but are you sure? Yeah, I don't mind at all. Fucking love roller coasters. Okay, let's do it. We ran up to the roller coaster, but... It's roller coaster noises. It's kind of a climb, isn't it? It was a bit was a bit horrified by how tall it was. I couldn't even see the scenery around me, just the blue sky. I'm so excited! I love roller coasters. Although I'm old, so after getting bashed around in a roller coaster all day, you're like, my head hurts. Wait! Ryuki, take my hand, please! Even as I frantically reached for his hand, Ryuki burst into laughter. You're the one who said you wanted to ride this. Are you really that scared? Despite his words, he smiled and took my hand. The warmth of his grip helped me calm down. But I can't help it. It's scary. Period. I thought I'd be fine. I rode plenty of rides in college, but I had no idea it could go this high. Just then, there was a loud sound, and the coaster came to a stop. Then... Ah! It's more like, ah! As you're laughing hysterically and screaming. It's basically how I ride roller coasters. The coaster rushed down, and I couldn't stop myself from screaming. Like, that's the thing. Roller coasters are supposed to make you scream, but you're like, ah! You like scream laugh. If you're the person that's on the roller coaster and you're like, yeah, no, that was cool, and you have no emotion, there's something wrong with you. You have to scream or laugh or just like, that was so scary. I had no idea you could make a voice like that. Anyway, your hair looks pretty remarkable. He chuckled and ruffled my hair. Knock it off. I had it exactly how I like it. Oh, well, the wind messed it up anyway. Sit down, I'll fix it for you. He made me sit down on a nearby bench, then started playing with my hair. Oh, that's gotta feel amazing. He combed my hair with his slender fingers, then braided it together in one group. He seemed really happy and didn't look down on me a single time. Because he's in love with you. Before, if my hair was even a little messy, he'd look really mad. And if my skin was dry, he'd look completely disgusted. But now, even if my hair is super messy, he doesn't mind at all. Right, because that's what love does to you. He just fixes it with a smile on his face. Before now, he talked about how his beauty grade was everything. He looked at me with those gentle eyes of his, then touched my ears. It was a gesture that told me he liked me. My heart started thumping again. Who wouldn't get excited being treated like this? Especially if they already said how they feel. Yeah, because like this, you'd be like, I have a feeling we're having a good time, and I think we're on the same page. But like, you could be like, yeah, no, it was great, but I don't want to see you again. But like, what? All that was left was to decide how I felt about it. You love him. Up till now, I wasn't sure what I was thinking. The kiss that day made everything hard to figure out. I wasn't able to look Ryuki in the eye, so I just looked down at his fingers. Then he reached out and touched my hair. I did it. Thank you. I looked up and Ryuki looked back with a mature gaze. It completely enveloped me. Feeling restless, I got up. I thought to distract us, so I pointed at a food cart nearby. But my voice came out a little louder than I expected. Is it acai juice? Acai? Is it acai? I think it's acai. Like, right? Is that what it is? Anyway. I want that! I want a grape! Bubble tea! It's I want a crepe. Okay. I want a crepe! Oh, those crepes look so good! Did you want to try one? You know, because we're feeling awkward. I knew how health conscious Ryuki was, but I couldn't stop myself from asking. Most people would say how fatty and caloric crepes were. Who cares? You're at a fucking amusement park. You just walked like 30 miles. The thing is, when you're at an amusement park, it's okay to eat junk. Because here's the thing. You're walking probably 10 times more than you normally walk, unless you're like an avid walker or very athletic. But like normal people, couch potato, we become walking potatoes. And then even if you're just standing in line for rides, you're standing a lot more. Where most of the time you'd be like, okay, let me sit. You're not. Even if you're not moving, you're standing. You're just using a lot more energy, and you need those motherfucking crepes. Plus, you're at an amusement park, which is not every single day, so it is okay to eat that motherfucking crepe. I braced myself, but Ryuki just smiled at me. It's okay. I want to try it myself. Which one do you want to try? Ryuki peered at the sign and looked at the menu with great interest. I've never had crepes before. It looks like there's a lot of choices, and some don't even have whipped cream. Are you sure this is okay? If you don't want, you don't have to. Huh? I thought you wanted to. Well, I mean, I'd like to. And I do too. I'd love to experience this with you. Aw. Oh. I looked at him and he stared back in embarrassment. Cute. I'm telling you, if it's good with you, it's good with me. I don't mind trying something like this once in a while. He turned away as if he was embarrassed and looked at the sign. There was a time where he wouldn't do anything that he didn't like. But now he cared about what I liked. I could feel a stinging sensation in my chest. You're like, I think I'm having a heart attack. I think I'm going to try this sugar crepe. How about you? I was thinking about the strawberry crepe. Oh, okay. Go and sit down on that bench over there. I'll bring it to you. Without giving me a chance to step in, Ryuki put in the order and paid the bill. Maybe because of how his grandma raised him, Ryuki was a surprising gentleman. Thank you. I felt my cheeks getting hot again. Feeling flustered, I sat down on a bench nearby. Huh. As Cupid, I knew all too well what my physical reaction meant. But for some reason, I was trying to fight the feeling. Was it because I knew that I actually was still Cupid? Still, why did Ryuki seem more cool than usual? Was it the way he was dressed? Or just how he was acting? Either way, he seemed way more mature than normal. He was like a model human, stood straight and tall. Couldn't help but admire him from a distance. That's when you know you're in love. You're just looking at that person in the distance and you're like, yeah, damn. While I sat there in a daze, Ryuki returned with 2 crepes. Here you go. What's wrong? Why do you look like that? Huh? Look like what? Well, look really cute, I guess. What? That wasn't an answer at all, but he looked so happy that I couldn't say anything. Here you go, your strawberry crepe. Thanks. I took the crepe and took a bite without thinking. It was really fresh and my eyes lit up at how delicious it was. So good. I know, I want one of those crepey things. Because they're like the crepes with all the fucking shit in them. It's like a crepe cone. Like, I want one of those. I want to try one. I don't have anything like that around here. Oh, that's right. Crepes are best when they're still warm. I mean, I've gone to like a brunch place with a friend of mine years ago, and they had like the Nutella and crepes. But it was basically like a crepe omelet. It was basically like crepe. They put some Nutella in it, and then they kind of like folded it over or whatever. It wasn't like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like, you know, where they fold it like a cone and they fit shit in it. I looked over and saw Ryuki eating a crepe with great interest. Interest? Interest. Wow. I don't know what the hell. I couldn't read that. Sounded so weird. I was glad to see he wasn't about to reject it. Really? That's awesome. My strawberry crepe is really good too. You want to try it? When I offered it to him, he pulled back for a second, but then he nodded and... Okay. Smiling slightly, Ryuki took a bite of the crepe. You're right. This is really good. What a nice smile. Actually, his smile was so dazzling it made me happy just to see it. Every time I saw him smile, it made my heart swell. I wondered why that was. Girl! Did you not just say, like, I know what this reaction is? Do you want to try some of mine? Absolutely! We sat next to each other and traded bites of our crepes. It's funny, I knew he was going to offer, but it's so funny when he's like, yeah, it's really good! She's just staring at me. He's like, what? Seriously? Give me some of yours, Jesus! Instead of feeling embarrassed, I was filled with a calm, happy sensation. I wanted to see this happy face of his more and more, probably because he always seemed so angry up till now. Ryuki, a man who never opened up to anyone. I was so happy to spend time with him. Beautiful date, beautiful date. After we finished our crepes, we kept sitting next to each other on our bench. On our benches? I would assume we were just sitting on the same bench. Little by little, the color of the sky kept on changing. Eventually, the sun set and night fell. We just sat on the bench the last half of the day? Sure, I mean, okay, but like... As the sky sparkled above me, I glanced over at Ryuki. I'd spent so much time with him and I thought I knew everything about him. But suddenly I realized I don't know anything. Hey, Ryuki, what made you fall in love with me? I hadn't intended to ask that, but it was already out before I could cover my mouth. He'd clearly heard me, and after thinking for a few moments, he just smiled at me. You don't know? Huh? No. I mean, I haven't done anything for you, so... He just sighed and stared at me as if he didn't know what to do with me. Even as a relationship advisor, you still think love has to be logical. Who the fuck are you and what did you do with Ryuki? Huh? No, that's not what I was about to tell him how I hadn't done anything to make him fall in love with me, but he put his finger on my lips. I don't really get it either. I just found myself so interested in you that I couldn't look at anything else. But isn't that what it means to be in love? It's so funny because the piece of the roller coaster is like popping out of his head and it just looks like he's got this giant yellow antenna. Because like it's almost like it's yellow even though his hair's got the green accents, but it's just like, woo! It's like when you're looking at him into the corner of your eye, you're just looking at his face and you just see that, you're like, that is a big freaking like hair swoop. I guess so, but besides, you did so much for me, or have you forgotten? I did? I didn't remember any of that, so I just shrugged, and Ryuki replied with a wry smile. For one thing, you treated me just like any other person. Most people either put me on a pedestal or shun me completely, but you didn't do either. You didn't care that I was a Keisain or a designer or anything else. I guess that's what made me happy more than anything else. He chuckled, then continued. You've never been afraid of me. You've always said exactly how you feel, and you didn't care when I said I couldn't see people's colors. Oh, when I said I could see people's colors, I'm like, what? Okay, I read that wrong. You reminded me how much I love making women's clothes, and how nice it was to share dinner with someone. If I have to put it into words, that's it. But I feel like there's more to it than that. I mean, that's the simple things, because you're like, that's just me being me. And you're like, I didn't... And he's like, exactly. But that's the perfect... Like, why did you fall in love with me? Well, because, you know, you helped me with my designs, you made me realize this, and like, having all these things, and you're like, I was just being me, and I wasn't trying to do anything special. And it's like, but that's what makes it special. Because then that person is like, just the things you do is you. Just you being you makes me so happy and feels so good and gives me the support and everything that I need. Like, this is like perfect. It's beautiful. Well done. Bravo, game. Ryuki stood up, took a step forward, then turned around and smiled at me. Right now you still look like a gradient between F4B 3C2 and BCE 2E8. That gradient, it's really beautiful. Ryuki's eye for color was clearly still alive and well. He still acted like a parasite sometimes, but he saw me as that beautiful color. Oh, you said that you wanted to ride the merry-go-round at night at least once, right? Why don't we do that now? Okay. He took my hand and I followed his lead. I was a little confused, but his back looked so big, I didn't mind following him. Supposed to walk next to him. Sorry. We walked around the amusement park until they closed. Then we had dinner and he walked me home. Eventually, we found ourselves walking toward my house. Good boy. Well, you got a mess on the couch, though. The date was over, but I didn't want to say goodbye just yet, so I stopped before we got to my front door. Thank you for today, Ryuki. Right. He looked at me and his mouth opened and closed as if trying to say something again. Hold on just a second. I'm sorry, I know you tried, but you missed, and you got poopies on my couch, and I gotta clean it up before it gets stained. There we go. Okie dokie. Thank you, Booger Bird. I appreciate you trying. He was sitting on me for so long, he had so much poops. TMI, but like, he knows to poop over the side of the couch, but every once in a while it doesn't quite go over the side and it gets on my couch, so. You tried and yummy, and it's okay. Anyway, I just wanted to clean it up before it dried on my couch. That phrase he tried to say before, "give me a chance," came back to me. I was sure he'd ask me again and again, but I didn't have an answer for him. I had fun today without a doubt, but was that love? I wasn't sure. Was I in love? Did I love him? That was a huge question. I mean, one date you usually don't, you like, I'm in love, but it's like you don't know if it's really love. You know what I mean? You're infatuated. You're interested. You're intrigued. You're in serious likes. So, you know what I mean? It's okay to not know after one date. You just keep dating that person and go out and keep exploring. Unless you're like, I mean, I don't know. Then maybe you don't wanna, you know? If it was anyone else, I wouldn't mind dating casually, but I couldn't do that to him. Because I knew that Ryuki was thinking about me seriously. As I stood there lost in my own thoughts, Ryuki smiled at me sadly. Did I tell you? My grandmother called me the other day. Your grandmother? You mean the one who taught you everything you know about design? Exactly. And she told me she found the perfect wife for me. She wants to introduce me. The perfect wife? The word shocked me, but Ryuki just nodded at me. My grandmother feels pretty strongly about it. She really wants me to marry this girl. Since I left Cupid Corps, I guess she thought I'd be alone forever if she didn't do anything. But I told her no because I love you. If I already have someone, why would I want to meet her? But that didn't work. She said I have to at least meet her before deciding. Oh, we're gonna like, okay, and then it's gonna be like a week later, and we're just gonna like bust in on their date and be like, no, I'll not give him up to you straight. Oh my god, that woman is like a goddamn super. You really, I'm a potato. Never mind, I'll leave. Like, she said this girl is perfect beauty grade, and I'd fall in love the second I met her. Beauty grade. The concept is written directly into the 10 Keisain commandments. But as far as I'm concerned, you're the most beautiful woman in the world. That's like the nicest thing he could ever say to us. I mean, seriously, this is Ryuki. Like someone saying you're the most beautiful person in the world. Oh, that's like the most wonderful thing you could ever, like, that's the most wonderful thing you think you could hear. But like, it's literally like, it almost means 10 times more coming from Ryuki, because he was like, you're like average at best. And you were like, ow, okay, you know, I'm only dealing with you because I have to. Like, maybe you could be an acquaintance, but like, you're towing the line. Bitch. You know? And then now he's like, you're the most beautiful woman in the world. Holy shit! Did you hit your head? Like, Gil telling us we're the most beautiful woman in the world? Yeah, okay. Shelby saying, okay. Any other guy saying it? Yeah, okay. I expect that's how you feel, because we're gonna think you're the most handsome man in the world, right? But like, Ryuki saying it is like, no compliment that anyone will ever give me will ever be as meaningful as this. Will never be as grand. In real life, someday, maybe someone will be like, you're the most beautiful girl in the world. You know, that means a lot, but not quite as much as that one time I was playing that Otome game and Ryuki said it to me. That still means more. Because it's, I mean, we knew it was going to happen, but yet at the same time, in theory, from Ryuki, it's totally unexpected. Ryuki gently took my hand and looked me in the eye. If I'm going to marry anyone, I want it to be you. So obviously I'm going to say no. Wow, we just went on one date, Ryuki. Simmer down. I mean, in reality, we had the practice date. Okay. We, hung out with him a bunch of times. So in a way, we were like, it may not have been an official date, but we kind of did date-y like things. You know what I mean? You could consider, and it's not like, oh, we just met at Cupid Corps and we matched and we went on one date and now he's talking about marriage and you're like, wow. I knew a guy like that once. I think we went out once and it was like cool and we had fun. And then like the next time we hung out, he was talking about how he was going to take care of me and our children. And I was like, I don't want kids. So like, this is weird. That did not go very far, obviously, but like, hello, a little creepy. Still remember that fucking 100 years later, like, okay. Anyway. So, if it were anyone else, but like, we worked with Ryuki, and then we were kind of friends, hanging out, doing whatever, even though he was like, what? We're not friends. Yes, we were. We were totally fucking friends. So it'd be like, oh, you meet someone and you're like, yeah, we cool. We go hang out with friend groups. We go to movies. We do stuff. We kind of hang out sometimes on our own, like even if it's like work related or whatever, and you're just spending time with that person, not dating. And it's like the chill kind of, that's how you get to know someone. That's the kind of way I prefer it. You're just friends. You hang out. You have fun. And then one day you're like, oh my God, are we like going to date now? Okay. Because the dating part is the scary part. Is they're like, oh, okay, we're going on a first date and I'm sitting at dinner and we were talking and like, I don't know you. I'm like, ah. But when you're friends with someone, you're just like, what up, Bob? Cool, what's up? Yeah. And then you just hang out and you just chat. Like, you're totally chill because they're just a human being that maybe you are acquaintances and will be friends with. And friend dating is less stressful than romantic dating. So friend date and then just fall into the romantic dating. Kind of like we did with Ryuki. So much better. Then when they bring up getting married on your first official fancy date, you're like, I mean, we've been hanging out for weeks. It's fine. In reality, hopefully it's longer than a few weeks. But sometimes when you know, and that's okay. After a moment, Ryuki let his breath all out at once and set his face in determination. What I'm saying is, if you'll have me, I'd like to introduce you to my grandmother. I'd say you're moving fast, but we have been kind of not dating you for like weeks here. He loves me. He wants to date me. He wants to marry me. That's what he was saying. Most people would kind of be happy about this, unless you weren't into this person, then, you know. Somehow I felt like I was skipping a step, but I quickly dismissed that thought. I can't say this is a leap of faith, because that's what Cupid is supposed to do. Like, Cupid's bow was meant to push people into love, to become lifelong companions. Meanwhile, living as a human, I had decided that love and marriage were completely separate. I'd fallen in love and still thought it was too soon to get married. Even though I knew better as Cupid. I'd been living as a human so long I'd lost all of my godly perspective. Was it because I'd spent so much time around a regular human like Ryuki? Anyway, you don't have to give me your answer now. I don't mind waiting. I just want you to think about how you feel. If it's okay, you can meet me in front of the Cupid Core building on December 1st at midnight. In front of Cupid Core? Yeah, that's where we first met, so... His face was calm and relaxed. It was hard not to feel drawn in by that look. Ryuki... He'd given me until December 1st to figure out how I felt, and you're like... That's tomorrow, Ryuki. But I'd heard so many things at once, I had no idea how I really felt. I was surprised to hear that Ryuki was thinking about getting married, and I lost so much of my intuition as a god. Okay, I'll think about everything till then. Thank you. I nodded awkwardly, then felt Ryuki's hand on my cheek. Kiss again? Listen, can I kiss you again? What? I was hit with another question that I had no idea how to answer, and I went completely stiff. Well... If you can't answer right away, I'm not going to hesitate. He pulled me close and put his lips on mine. If I'm not gonna answer, maybe that means no. But also, I'm okay with this. Oh, it's so pretty. Look, we have a different outfit on. They give us different outfits in the CGs. Or at least it looks different, because I don't remember our top being orange, but maybe it was. I'm not moaning. I kissed Ryuki for the second time. I was so overwhelmed I could feel the heat gathering in my face. You know what I find very funny? He's so tall! He's like 3 inches taller than you. It's really... He's not that tall. See? This is what I'm saying. This is how I expected Ryuki to be. Like, slightly taller than us, basically our height. But it's like, he's so tall. You're basically at eye level. Like, he's not that tall. Don't give me that. It wasn't anything like the kiss we shared last time. This one was gentle and loving, but it also conveyed a certain sadness. Yeah, because if you say no to him, this is the last time he's ever going to kiss you, and he's sad about it. When he pulled me in, it didn't hurt at all. I could get away anytime I wanted to, but you don't want to. Look at that. Look at the way he's holding her. Oh, it's beautiful. But I didn't want to. Instead, I reached for his shoulders and pulled myself in closer. I mean, that's a good sign for Ryuki. He put his hands around my waist and pulled me to him. There wasn't an inch of space between us. I mean, we all know that she's going to tell him yes, but it's still that, like, you're like, but what if we say no? I know absolutely, in no way, shape, or form are we going to say no to him. I also like the fact that there is a little swirly heart on the back of the wall behind us. Like on the right side, there's like the little heart, and then it like, wee, swirls around. Cute. Nice. I could feel the beating of a heart, but whose heart it was? Mine or Ryuki's? But whose heart was it? That's what it said. I found myself overflowing with joy as my eyes welled up with tears. Claris's voice rang through my head. And kissing makes me feel like things are getting serious. Does that mean I'm... Wasn't sure if I was nervous because I really liked him, or just because he was kissing me then and there. As Cupid, I couldn't believe I was so ignorant of all this. I felt like I'd been neglecting my duty. And again, I guess I was on the outside looking in. I could see other people's love, but I didn't know anything about it myself. Eventually, Ryuki removed his lips from mine. He looked me square in the eye, but I noticed a sense of regret. They were the eyes of someone in love. It's kind of like, I bet anything, you can absolutely Ryuki in this moment. You could be him in this moment and be like, you're kissing the person you love. You've given them this, like, please just think about it and then, like, whatever, tell me on December 1st, right? And then you're kissing this person, you're like, I have to fucking breathe. So you want to let them go, and like, but then you're at the same time, you're like, I don't want this moment to stop, because at least in this moment, we're happy, we're together, everything is okay, and I don't have to do the waiting game or the rejection thing, or like, you know what I mean? Like, you're living in this beautiful fucking moment, and you're like, I just want to freeze time right here so this never ends. Like, you know it's going to, but you don't want it to. And that's the sense of regret. It was obvious he must really be in love with me. Could I give him the same look? Looking at me, what did he see right now? Anyway, I'll be waiting for you. He let go of my hand and ran off into the darkness. I do love the fact that when he came, go on a date with me. Okay. Looks at me, deep in the eyes, turns and fucking bolts. Here he's like, I'll be waiting for you. Meaningful look. Turns and fucking bolts. I just like how he fucking runs the hell away. Like, yeah, it's slightly over dramatic, but it feels very, like, applicable. Like, it feels like a Ryuki thing. Ryuki, the glamour parasite who can see the colors within people and things. In a daze, I watched him go. I mean, we know she's going to say yes, but I still like the fact that even in this, you're like, I know she's going to say yes. It's not like, you know what's going to happen, but I like it when the writing is there and you're like, I 100% know what's going to happen, but I still am slightly worried. Like, you're still like, but like, do I? Yes, I absolutely know. But like, inside, there's this angstiness in you that's like, but I don't know what's really going to happen. What if it all goes wrong? You know it's not going to. But you still get that vibe. You still get that feeling. You're like, ooh. Okay, I'm gonna hold my breath. I'm gonna be a little tense until we know everything's okay. Even though you know it's gonna be okay because we're on the right. But we use the guide, for God's sakes. You know what I mean? Like, I like it. I'm home. When I got home, I found Claris drinking alone. Oh, welcome home. I didn't expect you back so soon. Yeah, well, I figured you'd be staying over with someone. Want a drink? Sure. As I sat down, Claris poured a glass of white wine for me. You're like, hello, we just went on our first date. It was only our second kiss. He wants to marry me. I don't think we can have sex yet. Jesus, Claris. I need a break. Here you go. Thanks. I feel like Claris's voice is all over the place. I don't know the voice I originally gave her, and I feel like it's 60. Every time she comes up, it's different. I don't know. I clinked Claris's glass and gave a small cheer. Then I took a sip and felt a little more calm. Claris gave me a knowing look, but didn't say anything. We both continued to sip our drinks in silence. The night went on like that, without a word between us. Interesting. You're like, I want to talk about it, but I don't. As soon as I got home, I grabbed the first pen I could find. I designed a single outfit for one specific person. Pure white fabric, a clean hemline, a wedding dress. Oh, no! We were supposed to, wear the wedding dress you designed when you were a kid. That would have been so much fun. But then you're designing a specific one for us is also really nice. I mean, both options would have been good. Like, I want you to wear the dress, my first dress design, my favorite one from when I was a kid. Like, ah! But then this is also a little more meaningful. Like, I made it specifically for you. Also, it's Ryuki, so of course, yeah, the one specific to us would be, that's how he designs. He thinks about the type of person that's going to wear it. And now he's thinking specifically of us, so, yeah. A thin silhouette would suit her best, I'm sure. Keep the hem even the whole way around. I couldn't explain why, but I felt like some invisible force was making me design a wedding dress for her. It's like willing it to happen. We know it's going to. And just imagining her in it made my hand move faster and faster. I could feel the blood coursing through my body as the ideas kept flowing into me. I could put this here and add lace roses to the sleeves. I could add an original chemical lace to the veil, and then a bow across the waist. I had no idea if she'd like my design. More than that, I had no idea if she'd like me. But this was all I had to offer. After all, I'm a designer. If I'm gonna propose to her, I need a dress made especially for her. Didn't you kind of already do that? Once the design's finalized, I can put the pattern together and sew it all together myself. I don't want anyone else's hands touching it. From cutting the original fabric to adding the last stitch. I want to do it all. That's even cuter. It's not just I designed a wedding dress for you. I actually hand fucking made it my goddamn self. That's beautiful. I was in such a hurry I couldn't have stopped my hands if I wanted to. I couldn't wait to get it all done. I was making a dress for the woman I loved. This makes it even sadder if we were to be like, I don't know if I feel the same way. And he's like, but I made you a wedding dress. Oh, that hurts. My heart was pounding in my ears. My entire body was burning up. I felt alive. I was truly, fully happy. Just like when I'd first started designing clothes as a kid. I felt that vitality all throughout my body. Gil also had a weird thing with his parents, and we had to kind of go in and oh, you have this weird relationship with your parents, and Ryuki is a weird one with his grandmother. December 1st. Oh, all right, here we go. This is it. Oh shit! I made my window. A few days after the date with Ryuki. Okay, so it really was only a few days later. I told you. I hope Ryuki's doing okay. He was all I could think about. I hadn't seen him since that day. In fact, I hadn't even called him. I doubted I'd hear from him until that day, December 1st, but I couldn't stop myself from checking the phone. All I could think about was if he would reach out to me. Up till now, we'd been talking back and forth so often. This was the first time we'd gone so long without seeing each other in quite a while. As I walked home from work, he was all I could think about. Chee! Seeing me walk around in a daze, Chee tilted his head at me curiously. I spotted some face mist in a window display, and even that was enough to make my heart ache sweetly. It's the same face mist that Ryuki uses. He'd sprayed me with it so many times, how could I forget? At first, I thought it was so annoying. I wonder when I stopped hating it. Why can't I stop thinking about him? Why am I so concerned? Ryuki, have you been eating properly? Seriously, I didn't understand why I was so worried about him. But I couldn't stop thinking about how I didn't want to leave his side. I knew just how lonely he really was. He could only see others based on their colors, which isolated him from everyone around him. In the beginning, I probably just felt pity for him, but at some point, that all changed. I recalled the feeling of that kiss, and my heart started beating faster. That was the moment that I first started seeing him as a man. His strong hands, his kind eyes. I wanted to see him again so much. There could only be one reason why I worried about him so much, why I missed him. But I was Cupid. My upbringing, my sense of purpose, that was the one thing holding me back. But when I got home, the last feeling of restraint disappeared. This came for you. Hey, welcome home. I made us dinner. Thanks. I tossed down my bag, washed my hands, and went to the dinner table. When I saw what was there, my entire body stiffened. He sent it to us, didn't he? There, on the table, was a spread of Japanese food. I heard the Japanese food is great for maintaining your beauty, and they were running a sale at the supermarket today. I think what Clarice is like, I heard this and they were doing it, and not like, ha, I know it's going to make you think of Ryuki, dumbass. Because, you know, Clarice is a little meddlesome, but in a good way. We need her to be. There's even Nato. Nato. The moment I saw that, tears started welling up in my eyes. Huh? Hey, why are you crying? Nato makes me sad. I'm just kidding. Because there's Nato? Huh? This was more serious than I thought. I was crying because just seeing the Nato made me think of Ryuki. At that moment, I knew I'd reached a point of no return. I wanted to see him. I hated the fact that I wasn't with him right that moment. I didn't want him to even meet his fiancée. I want to be with him forever. I already knew the answer. All I had to do was admit the truth to myself. My word, things must really be serious. Well, come on, let's dig in before it gets cold. Okay. Clarice laid out everything on the table. Miso soup, natto. The rest of the food was the same as always. The natto almost seemed out of place compared to everything else. Let's eat. I took a bite of natto, but bread and natto didn't go together at all. December 1st. This is where we admit our feelings to him in the next part. But we only have this chapter and then 2 other ones before we get our ending. So I don't know if those chapters... So these last few chapters have been going kind of fast, but I don't know if the last couple are going to go fast. So if it would be like 2-3 parts, but I don't think we don't have very much time until our ending. We also have no more choices left until our ending. I get curious sometimes when I get to the closer to the end. I'm like, scroll up, like, count how many chapters. So I snuck a peek. So I already know. So 2 more after this one. So we'll see how many parts that is. But anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.